Have you ever wondered what it really takes to become a millionaire? I mean, forget what you see on TV or on social media. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most surprising studies of wealth ever done. We're going to break their secrets down step by step to show you how real, lasting wealth is built by people who might just be living right next door. So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to bust some major myths about who millionaires actually are. Then, we'll walk through 4 huge practical steps you can start thinking about today, from being frugal to focusing on financial freedom. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with the one big mindset shift that really separates the wealthy from, well, everyone else.
All right, let's dive right in with the big reveal. The whole foundation of this research completely challenges what most of us have been taught to believe about rich people.
No, really. Just for a second, close your eyes and picture it. What car are they driving? What kind of clothes are they wearing? Got that image in your head? Good. Now let's see how that compares to reality.
Yeah, the difference is pretty shocking, right? The media feeds us this image of people with huge incomes, driving fancy cars, and just spending like there's no tomorrow. But the research from the Millionaire Next Door found the exact opposite. Your typical millionaire, they live a surprisingly normal, modest life. They are not the ones with all the flashy stuff.
The book uses this amazing Texas saying to describe the people who just look wealthy. They've got the big hat, the luxury car, the designer watch, but they've got no cattle, meaning there's not much real net worth to back it all up. It's an image of wealth, but it's often floating on a sea of debt. So, if we shouldn't copy the big hat crowd, who should we be looking at? Well, the book calls them PAWS, which stands for Prodigious Accumulators of Wealth. These are the people we're here to learn from. They are absolute masters at turning their income into actual wealth, and it doesn't matter how much they make.
And on the flip side, you've got the UAWs, the under-accumulators of wealth. Now, these are often the people with big incomes, doctors, lawyers, executives. They look the part, but they have shockingly little to show for it when it comes to net worth. Why? Because they spend it as fast as they earn it. And that's the key. It's not about your income, it's about your habits.
And that brings us perfectly to the very first and honestly the most important step of all. It's not flashy, it's not sexy, but it is the absolute bedrock of building wealth. You've got to embrace frugality.
The book literally says it 3 times in a row for emphasis, because it is that important. Now, being frugal isn't about being cheap. It's about being smart with your money and caring more about your financial future than about what other people think of your stuff. The foundation of wealth isn't earning more, it's spending less.
So let's look at a real guy from the book, Johnny Lucas.
He's a multi-millionaire businessman. But if you met him, you would never, ever guess it. He wears simple suits he bought off the rack and inexpensive watches. He's the living proof that real wealth doesn't need to scream. It's quiet, confident, and totally secure.
And if you need one more little detail to drive this home, get this. When the researchers were surveying all these millionaires, one of them said the most he had ever, in his entire life, spent on a pair of shoes was $20. 20? This isn't about depriving yourself. It's about making a conscious choice not to waste money on things that don't matter.
Okay, so on to our second step. Once you get a handle on frugality, the next move is to become a master of your own resources. And I'm not just talking about money. I mean your time and your energy, too.
This slide right here tells you everything you need to know. The PAWS, the prodigious accumulators, they spend almost twice as many hours every single month actively planning their finances as the UAWs do. See, the UAWs might spend their time worrying about money, but the PAWS spend their time managing it. That's a huge difference. And that's really the big idea here. You don't just stumble into becoming a millionaire. It's the direct result of a plan of consistent, deliberate effort. PAS budget and control their expenses to become wealthy, and it's the exact same habit that keeps them wealthy. This next step is a really big one. It's a deep shift in what you value. The truly wealthy care way more about long-term financial freedom than they do about short-term social status. In other words, you are not what you drive. This story is just incredible. So this self-made multimillionaire, a Mr. Allen, was gifted a brand new Rolls-Royce. And you know what he did? He turned it down. Why? His reason was, with the Rolls, I can't go to some of the crummy restaurants I enjoy going to. He knew that car wasn't just a car. It represented a lifestyle change he didn't want, one that went against his core value of simplicity. And the data absolutely backs this up. For example, look at this. More than a third of the millionaires in the study are actually used car shoppers. They're sensitive to price. They understand that a new car is a rapidly depreciating asset, and they'd much rather put that money into something that grows.
Our fourth step is actually a warning, especially for families that already have some wealth. The research discovered that one of the single biggest things that gets in the way of building a wealth mindset is financial dependency, what the authors call EOC.
EOC stands for Economic Outpatient Care. You can think of it as wealthy parents giving their adult kids regular, big financial gifts. On the surface, it seems like a nice thing to do, but it often does way more harm than good. It basically teaches the kids how to spend money, not how to earn it, save it, or invest it.
And this finding from the book is so counterintuitive, but it's crucial. The data shows a direct inverse relationship. The more financial help adult kids receive, the less wealth they end up building for themselves. It just kills their drive and their discipline. Turns out, you can't buy financial responsibility.
So, we've walked through the big steps. Live frugally, plan your resources, value freedom over status, and build your own financial independence. Now, let's pull it all together into the one final, crucial mindset shift that you really need to make. The authors frame this perfectly as playing offense versus playing defense. The UAOs, the underaccumulators, they play great offense. They focus all their energy on making a huge income. But the PAOs, the real millionaires, they are masters of defense. They get that it's not just about what you earn, it's about what you keep. Budgeting, saving, investing wisely, that's how you win the game.
And so, this whole deep dive leaves us with one final powerful question to ask yourself. What is your actual goal? Is it to have the appearance of success, the big hat? Or is it to build real, lasting financial independence, to actually own the cattle? Because as the Millionaire Next Door shows us, that choice is entirely up to you.